Hi, this is Rob Tellis at devontown.com. Today we're just going to set up a new website at Incendia Web Works. So first go to the site www.goiww.com, and when you get there you should see a web page like this called Incendia Web Works. It's run by a fellow named Bud Grant. He has a fabulous reputation, and I've heard that this hosting is excellent. So we are going to be setting up a basic website for today, or a basic hosting account for today. So go down here where it says economy, $1.85 per month. I mean, if you're just getting started in blogging, you're not sure if it's for you, you really can't go wrong after you've chosen your domain name to go with hosting that only costs a couple of bucks per month. So go down here to economy, $1.85, buy now. It'll take you to a screen that either lets you buy a new or register a new domain here at Incendia Web Works. But as I said in my previous video and in my previous posts, that I prefer to have my domain names and my hosting at two separate places. So if you're like me and you bought your domain somewhere else, and if you have your domain already, you want to click here where it says, I will use my existing domain and update my name servers. So I've got a domain that has been floating around here for a while called Kboy Creeper. I'm just going to set that one up today. So you just put in your domain name right after the www.kboycreeper, and over here .com, and click use. They're going to verify the domain selection. After that stops circling around, it's time to configure. Now again, if you're not sure if blogging's for you, you can certainly do $1.85 USD per month. Cancel it at any time. But at this point, I know I'm going to use this for at least the year. So I'm just going to choose the easy way and do it annually. Managed hosting, you don't want to pick that right now. Managed hosting is $300 USD. So obviously it is not going to be $1.85 per month or $22 a year. And depending on your location or where you envision most of your audience, is really which location you should choose here, where your server is located. If you're in the US, or if you think you're going to have mostly US audience, then you'll want to choose the New York metro area. If you're in Australia or Far East Asia, or you think most of your audience will come from that area, then certainly pick Sydney. And if you're in Europe, continental Europe or the UK, then certainly pick the German server. I think most of my audience for this website is going to be in the USA. It's a name that's been around for a bit. Actually, I had a client that didn't want it anymore, so I picked it up. I'm going to choose New York City Metro. You don't need to worry about the core count. Just let it with whatever it's set up. It's got 2 cores, memory booster, 1 gigabyte, DDR4 RAM. Again, just leave that as it is. In-memory server-side caching is disabled. As you can see, you can also enable it, but that'll cost more money. Right now, we're going for just a basic plan. So once you've got where you want your server fit in, and whether you've chosen to pay monthly or annually, just click Continue. And you get to your review and checkout site. Now here, you can pick your, if you have a promo code, which I don't have a promo code for this, that it's not an affiliate link, and $1.85, really, it's not that expensive. Even for the year, $22.20 is just not that expensive. Click checkout, and it'll take you to a page that's got all your sign-up information. Now I'm just going to put the video on pause here for a second while I fill this in. You need your name, last name, email address, phone number. If you have a company name, you can put that in, but they need your street address, city, where you live, postal code, etc., what country, and then you need to pick a password. So I will see you back here in just a moment. Okay, and as you can see at the bottom of the screen, after you filled in your name, address, phone number, etc., you have 2 methods of pay, either PayPal or Stripe. If you have a PayPal account, that's probably the most convenient, but if you have a credit card, you can use a PayPal as well. But I've also found Stripe is a great way to pay. So if you can be using a credit card, you can choose Stripe if you're not a big fan of PayPal. Okay, so I just clicked the complete order button. Took me to PayPal. I paid off the $22.20, and then it brought me back to Incendia Web Works, where it's given me an order confirmation, and I will see an email shortly. Now I don't have my email turned on now, but I'll check that in a few minutes. I'm going to continue on to the client area, and we are going to set up the first or the install for WordPress. Okay, as soon as you click continue after you've made your payment, you're going to get some emails from Incendia. You get a welcome email, an invoice, and a payment email, and maybe another one. And initially, when you first come back to this page, this where it says services will say 0. Now, it takes maybe 5-10 minutes for Incendia to set up the account, and then they will send out an email that says new account info. Now, this is a very important piece of information. It contains a lot of things that you need to make sure that your website's going to work properly. The first section is control panel information. This will have a link to where you log into your cPanel, and it will also have a new name and a new password. Now, these are different than the password and username that you used to sign in on Incendia. You will be signing into your control panel, and that's where you can take control of files and set up your Ssl certificates, which give you the HTTPS. It's where you go to install WordPress. And it's basically the back portion of how your whole hosting package is structured. So look for that email. As soon as you get it, then these services should be set up. Click on the URL for the cPanel and enter the information, enter the username and password that Incendia sent you. When you click on the URL, it'll open up a white page. It says cPanel and a login area right in the center of the screen. It's a pretty simple page. Once you've logged in there, this is what it will look like. This is where your file manager will be. This is where you will find all your directories, where you set up your FTP accounts, which is for file transfer protocol. It's a way to upload really large files if you need to. It's where you set up your email and your email forwarders and things like that. It is also where you set up WordPress. So included in this hosting account is an Ssl certificate. Let's encrypt SSL. It's a free certificate that will make your website secure, give it the HTTPS at the front of your website. So when you're first setting up a brand new website, you really need to do this nowadays. Google has made HTTPS a ranking factor, so you might as well set it up right away. So when you get into the back end of the cPanel, first thing you do, let's go to Let's Encrypt SSL. So you click on that, this will open up, and it says your domains with Let's Encrypt. Right now the domains are empty because you don't have anything set up. So issue a new certificate. So you want to choose one of the domains below, and issue a new key and certificate will be added to the SSL/TLS manager. So Kboy Creeper is already in there, and it's got all the alternate names. So just click issue, and it will issue a certificate for your domain name. Now, SSL renews on a regular basis. I think it's every 90 days. So you will get emails, but those are emails just to let you know that the certificate has been renewed. That your name's correct, and click issue. Okay, so the SSL certificate is now installed on the domain caveboycreeper.com. And this is the IP address of wherever it's being hosted. So now go back, and you can see that caveboycreeper.com is installed. So now we want to go back to the front page of the cPanel, and we will install WordPress. But what you'll want to do is go to the software section where it says Installatron Applications Installer. Click on that, and it will open up a whole bunch of scripts and applications that you can install on your website. The first section is apps for community building, but you want to look for the second section where it says apps for content management. And there you can see in the first place here is WordPress. So click on WordPress, and it just gives you an overview of what WordPress is. And right here, it says install this application. So all you need to do is click that, and it will open up a new window where you will set up your application. So domain. Now this is where I was talking about www and non-www and HTTP and HTTPS. You want to make sure that you change this section here to whatever your preferred version is. I suggest it has to start with HTTPS, and then you need to decide if you want your URL to have www in it or not have it in it. Years ago, it made a difference. www did actually serve as a specific purpose, but today it really doesn't matter. I prefer websites that do not have the www in front of it. So go to the drop-down menu and pick whichever version you want. I'm going to pick HTTPS caveboycreeper.com, no www. Okay? I suggest you definitely pick the HTTPS, but the www or non-www does not matter. For the version, leave it as is, 4.9.6. It's the latest version. If you see this video in the future, it'll be 4.97, or maybe it'll be up to 5 already. Whatever the version is in here, it's the latest version. Pick your language. You need to accept the license agreement. Automatic update. A lot of people don't like automatic update on WordPress, but the reality is WordPress does security updates, and as soon as they do a security update, they let everybody know what the security issue was. So if you didn't change or if you didn't update right away, everybody in the world knows where the security issue was. So I would suggest you update minor versions and security releases. So when WordPress goes to a big update, a major update will change the first digit in the version. So the next major update will be 5, and that's going to have a Gutenberg editor. We'll see when that happens. It's supposed to happen sometime this year, but that would be a major version. That will still give you the option of whether you want to update it or not. But minor versions that changes the 0.6 or the 0.9, let those update. And of course, you have to have the security releases updated automatically. Otherwise, you're just leaving yourself open for hackers. I do not allow WordPress to update my plugins automatically, nor my themes. Reason being is sometimes when the plugins get updated, they'll break your website, and if you can't get in there right away, you could have a broken website for a couple of days. So I would leave those as a manual update. You do want to update them regularly and as soon as possible, but usually you could give it a day or two after their first release just to make sure they're working properly. Automatic update backup. That's a great idea. Create a backup and automatically restore the backup if the update fails. That way you don't have to worry about doing backups when you do updates. This will all be pre-populated. Administrator username, administrative password. Just leave them as is. You don't want to really change this. A lot of people have changed this, and back in the day that used to be admin as the default username. So hackers would actually have half of the combination. They'd have your username already because a default WordPress install used to be just admin. So leave it as is. It's harder to fix. No one will see that on the front end. When you get into WordPress, you can change how your name is displayed on your blog posts. Website title. That's the name of your website. So you can change that if you want. I'll just type in Caveboy Creeper. These can be changed once you are in the WordPress install as it is. So you don't have to come up with a tagline right away, but you should have your website title. It's usually your URL. So just change that. If you forget to change it, not a big deal. You can change it once you get into WordPress. Two-factor authentication. If you want to use Jetpack, you certainly can do two-factor. It will keep your site more secure. I personally don't like Jetpack. I will never use that on any of my sites, so I don't bother with that. Yes, you want to limit login attempts. What that does is just limit people from trying to break into your website through the password page. It's usually 3 or 5 attempts, and then they block the person for an hour or 2 or 24 hours. That, again, will be able to be set once you get into the WordPress install. Enable multi-site. No, unless you're doing something that this video is really not for, you do not need a multi-site. So just keep that at no. And automatically manage advanced settings. You might as well leave that as is, and then you click install. So it's processing. Okay, so if you get that error message, all that means is the Ssl certificate hasn't propagated properly around the internet yet. So it'll just give it some time. Like the message said, it says 24 hours, but usually within hours. So give it some time. While you're waiting, there's one more thing you have to change. Going back to that email that said new account info, you need to go to the second section that has your name servers. Now there'll be 2 name servers there. One should be ns1 and then something.com, and then another one that says ns2 and something.com. You'll want to move these and put these in where your domain is. So go to wherever you registered your domain, whether it be Namecheap or Netfirms or GoDaddy or whoever you bought it from, doesn't matter. Log into the domain registrar. For this domain that I have, it was already over at Netfirms. I didn't buy a new domain for this tutorial. So you'll have something like Domain Central or Domain Manager or Manager Name Servers or something to that effect inside your account. So here are all the domains that are at this particular registrar. Here's K-Boy Creeper. And what we'll want to do is we want to go to Name Servers and change the name servers. So here are the ones here. I've already changed them, but instead of using the default, you'll need to use either different name servers or custom name servers or whatever the case may be, and add the 2 new servers, or replace the old servers rather, and then hit save. Now this also can take supposedly up to 24 hours, but again, I've only seen it take a couple hours usually. And this is to make your domain name point at your WordPress install. So once you've done that, click save and then go back to the control panel and give it another shot and see that if we can get it done now. So here we go. We're going to try the HTTPS again, see if we've given it enough time and see if it will populate. All the other things are the same. And click install. And there we go. K-Boy Creeper. It's copying the database and tables. It's going into the install. It's installing the base 2018 or 2017 theme that WordPress puts out. It comes with all the installs. So everything's in there now. Okay, so here's the details. So you can edit the details when you want. I will probably edit out that administrative username so it's not the same one. You'll also get an email from the server telling you what your login information is. So again, there's all the information. It's totally installed. And now all we need to do is go in, change the theme, add some plugins, and you're ready to start blogging. So what I'm going to do here, because I've already got my administrator username showing here, and I really don't want anybody to see that, I'm going to uninstall this and reinstall it, and then I'll come back and we'll take a look at how we get into the back of the WordPress dashboard, and I'll leave you with some homework and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm back and I've reinstalled the WordPress installation just so that my administrator username isn't public. So you can see here, this is the website, kboycreeper.com. This is the address here that you will log into the dashboard. You'll get an email from WordPress with yet another username and yet another password. This is so you can get into your WordPress install. So at this point, we have had a username and password to log into Incendia Web Works client portal where your hosting is located, your hosting account. You have a username and password to log into your cPanel. That's how you get into the back end of your WordPress or your website and your hosting account. So that's where all the important things are held. And you're going to have a username and password to actually log into the dashboard. Now, the dashboard in WordPress is where all the things happen that you do on a daily basis. So give me a moment and we will log into the K-Boy Creeper and I'll show you that. One thing I did want to show you, that you should probably do automatic backups. Since Incendia offers this, you might as well take advantage of it. I would go with probably 1 weekly and 1 monthly, simply because at the beginning you're probably not going to have a ton of new content. If you find yourself writing new blog posts daily and adding new content daily, excuse me, then you can certainly change this whenever you want. So weekly and 1 monthly. And save all. Okay, so keep in mind, it does take time for your domain to propagate around the world. It takes time for the Ssl certificate to propagate around the world. You will get an email explaining the passwords. So this is the website here this here is where you would log in. So if you want to click on this, if everything's propagated, it should look like this. Now, my blog should say K-Boy Creeper, but when I went back to reinstall, I didn't put that part in. I'll show you where to change that in just a moment. Okay, so to access your dashboard, you've got an email that you got that gives you the login information. You go to WP, your domain name, and then add a / WP-admin. It'll take you to a login screen. And this is a login screen. Now, this is not the right information. This is for another install that I have. So just give me a moment. I will check my email and log in. Okay, I went to the email and found out it did send me my administrative username, but it did not send a password. You've got to go back to this table here. This was where the just after we installed the WordPress information. This is the area. You need to actually fill this section in, administrator password. So just go down here, click generate, show password, copy down the password, or put it in a password manager, and then you can use that to log in. Now, while I'm here, I might as well just change this to K-Boy Creeper. And I'm going to click Save All. Okay, so once you get all that information, the password and the username for your new install, this is your dashboard. This is where we're going to install plugins and themes, and where you go to change the general information on your blog. So earlier I had said about the being able to change the name and being able to change the tagline. Just go to Settings General, and there it says My Blog. Change to K-Boy. K-Boy Creeper. Just another WordPress site. I'll change that later. Your WordPress address is HTTPS. Your site address is HTTPS. That is my email. And you can go ahead and change the settings. We're going to get into more of the settings and downloading themes and downloading plugins next week, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to save the changes. You'll go back to the front, visit your site, and there you go, K-Boy Creeper. So there you go. You've now learned to install WordPress. We'll cover themes and plugins in the next video. And thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, and visit my website. Thanks very much.